Good evening. This is Shri here again, and I'm doing a solo show. And this one is not about football, but in a way, it's about general sports. So, over the past week or so, there were two teams which were both the number one seeds in their respective sports. One was Milwaukee, and the other one was the Boston Bruins. Both of them were number one seeds in the NBA and NHL. And both of them didn't make it past the first round. So it begs the question, and this was a question that was also asked of Giannis, who's the superstar for the Milwaukee Bucks, whether this season was a disappointment. And this was a question a reporter did ask Giannis, and one of the answers that he provided was that he kind of referred to Michael Jordan stint in the NBA where he won 6 championships, but he was kind of responding back to the reporter if the rest of the seasons were considered a failure. So this got a lot of people in the sports field, a lot of conversation where a group of individuals sided with Giannis about this is more like a process. Sports is always about winning or losing. Losing necessarily does not mean that it's a failure of a season, especially in a sport that is, basketball. One player can change the outcome of the game, but you still play as a team sport. So, and then it's interesting because every time we always think about sports being a process, and even when you listen to the greats who played the game of football, like Tom Brady or even Peyton Manning, they always thought about wins and losses not as a definition of their success. Obviously, Brady won 7, Manning won 2, but it didn't mean that Manning seasons where he fell short, they don't qualify as failures. Maybe from a fan's perspective, but from a player perspective, while they definitely think it could have been a failure, they're always about the process. They always come back and see how they can get better. And you're talking about an NBA champion in Giannis, who did win the NBA championship. So for someone like him who has gone through the emotion of winning a championship, this season must have felt a disappointment, but certainly not a failure. That goes back to the same thing with even the Boston Bruins, who were the number one seed, who won the most games by an NHL team and managed to, I would almost say, like, even in Game 7, they were just about a minute away from winning the series. They were up 3-1. They had many chances to close the game, but they fell to the Florida Panthers. So, although I don't follow much hockey, it just was very intriguing for me to do this podcast about how do you perceive a season in which a favorite team or the number one team that won the most games in the regular season doesn't make through the first round. Is it a failure, or is it more a function of a matchup that they face? Now, this could be going back many, many years ago. The Patriots did go 18-1, fell to the New York Giants 18-1, and the question was on everyone's mind about if that season was a failure. To me, as a fan, at the heat of the moment, you would think it is a failure. But over many, many years later, after you reflect upon that season was special. They did go 16-0 in the regular season, never been done in the NFL. Obviously, the Dolphins did it, but the Dolphins were 14-0. They played 2 games lesser back when they went 17-0. So again, this is a very interesting topic about sports and how it's perceived. Maybe to the fans, to the media, some of these seasons may, to them, in their mind, they could think it's a failure. But I am of the opinion that for a player, right after they lose a series, they may think it's a failure, but they always bounce back, come back with, I would say, more motivation. Not that they need any motivation, they're all professional players. But every time they fail to achieve their goal of winning a championship, they always think about the process. They always think about how they can get better. They always think about what they could have done better before kind of putting it on other players. And they kind of motivate their players to bounce back, follow their lead, work harder, obviously, and maybe try to watch more film, try to find things that would motivate them, and they definitely always bounce back. Or whether it's Tom Brady, who was always bounce back from a loss and then come back and win a trophy. Same thing with greats like Peyton Manning, who many years he never went past the AFC Championship because the Patriots were always in the way. But then he managed to win not only against the Patriots and in both the times. I mean, he did beat the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl and then won the Super Bowl. So here's where I feel that the player always comes back stronger and completely erases the memory of the past, and then goes on to gain more glory, win a championship. But I definitely don't think, in my mind, a season should not be labeled as a failure if they don't manage to get through the first round or second round, for that matter. So interesting topic, but just my thoughts. Happy to get the feedback. Thank you.